Mel Tucker, the bad motherfucker, or the bad mother Tucker, signed a big deal this last week. Actually, 1 week ago tonight, he finally signed the rumored 10-year, $95 million deal, $5 million less than Brian Kelly. I don't know if that's a
Which
coincidence.
it was originally reported at 10 years 95, so he probably was like, I deserve more than Mel Tucker.
And $1.2 million for a house, and I'm not sure what
Yes.
Mel Tucker got. So, congratulations to Mel.
He's a better money manager.
That went into the big Penn State game, as mentioned before, the land grant trophy. That trophy, I don't know if the Big Ten is ridiculous about trophies in general. The little brown jug, and
I think college football kind of is. You sometimes don't even notice, and then like you've seen this matchup for years, and you're like, oh, they're playing for a trophy in this, and you're just like, that's so random.
yeah, I feel like the Big Ten is the corner of the market on that. I mean, they've got every rivalry has some kind of trophy associated. Paul Bunyan's trophy for Michigan State. Paul Bunyan's
Right.
axe between, I think that's Minnesota and Wisconsin. The little brown jug between Michigan and Minnesota, which I've never fully understood. The brass spittoon. What is that? Is that Purdue? I don't even know now, but the land grant trophy might be the most ridiculous of all of them between Michigan and Penn State. Apparently both states were granted statehood through land grants, or there's some commonality with land grants in their history. Nobody cares. I believe the history is that George Perlis, former Michigan State coach, Michigan State great Rose Bowl winning coach, he made it up basically and created the trophy. And I guarantee you've never seen this trophy, because I think they try to not show it as much as they can, because it is the dumbest looking trophy you have ever seen. It looks like a deranged junior high shop class project. It's literally it's like a rectangle box with like little weird shelves coming off randomly off it with like shitty like I'm not even joking. It's like little trophies, like
Gonna have to look this up now.
yeah, like the classic $10 trophy you'd get for playing a soccer game, just kind of randomly placed around it. So, and I don't know why they do it. I think George Perlis was just a weird guy, but he wanted it's a big ass trophy too. So he wanted to make sure like it was not a spindly little thing that it was not easy to carry around the field, I guess was his point. But I don't know. It's bizarre, but so you could call it the land battle for the land grant trophy, or since James Franklin also signed a 10-year extension with Penn State last week, you could call it the 10-year extension belt or trophy or what have you. We've kind of made fun of James Franklin for a while on this show, and I'm not really sure why he has a job, why he is getting a 10-year extension for doing that job. He's now finished 4-5 in the Big Ten for this losing record for the second year in a row. He's like 7-5 this year. So how does that guy get a 10-year extension? I've seen it reported as 75 million or 85 million. Regardless, it's an insane amount of money for a very mediocre coach.
Well, I mean, if you're looking at it from Penn State's point of view, he's got no shower misconduct or anything like that. So, the bar set kind of low there. They're just happy that there's not any negative press coming to the school.
That dude's set for life for being as mediocre as it gets.
Did he know he was playing Michigan State this weekend?
He did know that, but apparently he did not know that Michigan State had the worst secondary in all of college football. As I mentioned last week, the last few weeks, I think they've had the worst secondary. The yardage given up was to the point where in their final game against Penn State this week, they could have given up 0 yards and they would still lead the nation in worst pass defense. Somehow that message didn't get to James Franklin as he continued to try to run the ball in the second half and pissed away an opportunity to beat Michigan State on the road. It was unbelievable because they were throwing the ball in the first half and they were making some incredible catches in really adverse conditions. I'll get to that in a minute, but basically state, stepped up, got business done, pretty much how they've always done it, with a balanced offense and just enough defense to get it done. They won 30-27. Kenneth Walker III had another 138 yards and a touchdown. I'm wondering, that brings up the question, like, does he get back in the Heisman race? It was reported this week he did not practice at all. And it makes you think about what was happening last week. He had the flu, and it was not reported until late last week that he did miss all the week's practice. Yet he was able to come back and run, like I said, for 138 yards and a touchdown. Makes you wonder if he was under the weather, possibly against Ohio State the week previous, as he uncharacteristically only had 6 carries and 20 some yards. So I'm wondering, I'm obviously going to give him a mulligan because I'm a Michigan State fan. I don't know if the Heisman voting committee will do the same, but it's just that game was such an anomaly against Ohio State, and he was so poor, and then came right back to life the next week. So he is among the leaders in rushing. I think he's the second leading rusher in the nation. I'll get to who is the first in our Maction Minute coming up, but I don't know. I thought with CJ Stroud, he did throw for 400 yards against Michigan, but they did lose the game. Obviously, I forgot Alabama's quarterback's name, but he was horrendous until the last minute of the game, basically, where Auburn gave it to him. So I'm hoping that Kenneth Walker III moves his way back into the Heisman conversation.
What I didn't understand going into that Michigan State-Penn State game is why Penn State was the favorite.
I didn't see that they were maybe I didn't pay attention. I guess maybe just because State was beaten so badly against Ohio State.
It was just strange. I looked up the line, and Penn State was a -5.
Yikes. Well, I think that speaks to what a big win that really is. It is just Penn State, and I kind of make fun of them, and they are barely over 500 and under 500 in the conference. But that was a huge comeback for Michigan State and Mel Tucker. As embarrassing as the Ohio State loss was, how that could maybe spiral, and certainly the next week, how those that much of an embarrassment could send the program spiraling, and be really embarrassing for a coach that just signed such a historic deal to lose his final 2 games of the year. So I really think that's a big deal for State to win that game. It's their 10th win of the season. The first time they've won 10 games since 2017, I believe. So it's a cool thing. They're obviously going to a big bowl game. We talked about that earlier. They have a chance to go maybe to the Fiesta Bowl is the rumor. Super cool for Mel Tucker's second year. So I think that's awesome. Again, it's I keep propping up what a big win that is. It is just Penn State, but I think it was a really crucially important win for the program. So go green.
Word Hole Media.